I'm Sonia, and let's dive back into the story of Raj and Andrea. Things are really heating up. The words hit Raj like a punch to the gut. He stood there in shock, his mind racing. He had known that Andrea's time in India was limited, but hearing that she was leaving so soon felt like the ground was shifting beneath his feet. "You're leaving, tomorrow?" Raj's voice was faint, almost as if he was asking the question to himself rather than her. "Yes," Andrea said softly. "I've been thinking a lot about everything, Raj. About us. And I realize that I need more time to figure things out. This has all been so overwhelming, and I need to be sure of what I'm feeling, what I want. We've only just met, and this is a huge decision. I can't make it in just a few days." Raj's heart sank. He understood what she was saying, and he knew she was right, but it didn't make the reality any easier to bear. His mind flashed to his family, to how they would see this situation. His parents wouldn't understand, and in their eyes, it would likely be considered a disrespectful rejection. The thought of that, combined with his growing feelings for Andrea, was almost too much to handle. But Raj knew he couldn't let his fear or heartbreak show. "Not now. I understand, Andrea," he said, his voice steadier than he felt. "This isn't something you should rush into, and I don't want to pressure you. We can take things one step at a time, get to know each other better, even if it has to be over the phone for a while." Andrea's voice softened, grateful for his understanding. "Thank you, Raj. That means a lot to me. I do care about you, and I want to explore what this could be. But I need to do it at my own pace. I hope you can understand that." Raj nodded, even though she couldn't see him. "I do. And I'll be here, Andrea. We'll stay in touch, and when you're ready, we'll figure things out together." There was a moment of silence, a shared understanding passing between them. "Would you like to have lunch at my place today?" Raj offered, trying to keep his voice light despite the heaviness in his heart. "That sounds nice," Andrea replied. "It'll be good to see you before I leave." "Andrea," Raj began, his voice faltering slightly before he continued, "would you have dinner with me tonight as well? And, would it be okay if I take you to the airport tomorrow?" Andrea hesitated for a moment, sensing the emotion behind his words. "Dinner sounds good. And yes, I'd appreciate it if you could take me to the airport." Raj let out a breath he didn't realize he'd been holding. "Thank you, Andrea. I'll see you at lunch then." "See you soon, Raj," Andrea replied softly before the line went silent. Raj hung up the phone, his mind swirling with 1,000 thoughts. He turned to Onik, who had been standing quietly in the background, watching his friend's reaction with concern. "She's leaving tomorrow," Raj said, the weight of the words sinking in as he spoke them aloud. Onik's expression softened, understanding the pain behind Raj's composed exterior. "I'm sorry, Raj. I know this isn't what you wanted to hear." Raj sighed, trying to keep his emotions in check. "No, it's not. But I can't blame her. She's right, this is all happening too fast. We need time to get to know each other, to build something real." Onik nodded, his voice gentle. "You're doing the right thing, Raj. Giving her space, letting her make her own decisions, it's the only way to build a foundation that can last. But I can see how much this is hurting you." Raj looked away, trying to hide the raw emotion that threatened to spill over. "It's just, my family won't understand. They'll see this as a rejection, as disrespect. But I know this is what needs to happen if there's any chance of us being together." Onik stepped closer, placing a reassuring hand on Raj's shoulder. "Your parents love you, Raj. They may not understand now, but they'll come around. And as for Andrea, if it's meant to be, It will be. You've done everything you can, and now it's up to her. Raj nodded, the resolve slowly returning to his voice. You're right, Onik. I just have to trust that things will work out, one way or another. Onik gave a small smile, his eyes filled with empathy. And I'll be here with you, every step of the way. As Raj prepared for the day ahead, his thoughts kept returning to Andrea's voice on the phone, to the uncertainty that lay ahead. He knew this was a pivotal moment, one that would shape their future. But for now, all he could do was take it one step at a time and hope that the love he felt for her would be enough to guide them through. Andrea was picked up by Raj's driver, the car gliding smoothly through the bustling streets of the city. As she approached Raj's apartment, her heart pounded with a mix of emotions, anticipation, sadness, and a lingering uncertainty about the future. When she arrived, Raj was waiting for her at the door, his expression a mirror of her own conflicted feelings. They greeted each other with a warmth that belied the tension in the air. Susie hadn't come this time, leaving them alone to navigate the complex emotions that had been building over the past few days. Raj's usual confidence was replaced by an anxious energy. He was sad, concerned, and clearly struggling with the reality of Andrea's impending departure. Andrea, too, seemed weighed down by the gravity of the situation, her usually bright demeanor subdued. After they settled in Raj's living room, the silence between them was thick with unspoken words. Finally, Andrea broke it, her voice soft and filled with emotion. Raj, there's something else I need to tell you, another reason why I need to go back home. It's my family, and my studies. I'm in my last year of college, studying to become a lawyer. I've worked so hard to get this far, and I can't afford to stop now. Raj listened intently, feeling a pang of disappointment but also a spark of hope. The fact that she was sharing this with him, explaining her reasons, made him feel that she was seriously considering their relationship. She wasn't closing the door, she was simply asking for time. I understand, Andrea, Raj said, his voice steady despite the turmoil inside him. Your career and your family are important, and I would never want to stand in the way of that. But it means a lot to me that you're thinking about us, too. That gives me hope. Andrea nodded, her eyes softening. I am thinking about us, Raj. This has all happened so fast, and there's so much to process. But I don't want to lose what we've started. I just need time to figure out how to make it all work. Raj smiled, the first genuine smile he had managed in days. We'll take it one step at a time, Andrea. I'll be here, waiting for you. We can talk, get to know each other better, even if it's over the phone for now. And when the time is right, we'll figure out the rest. The conversation eased some of the tension, but the sadness lingered. They both knew that this might be the last time they saw each other in person for a long while, and that thought weighed heavily on them. The next day, Raj picked up both Andrea and Susie from their hotel. Unbeknownst to the girls, the hotel was part of Raj's family's extensive business empire, a detail that Raj had kept to himself. As they made their way to the airport, the mood in the car was quiet, each person lost in their own thoughts. When they arrived at the airport, Susie and the driver got out of the car, giving Raj and Andrea a moment of privacy. Raj looked at Andrea, his heart aching with the knowledge that this could be their last goodbye. He didn't want to overwhelm her, but the thought of letting her go without one last gesture was unbearable. I can't get out with you, Raj said, his voice laced with regret. Because of my position, it wouldn't be appropriate, but I wish I could. Andrea nodded, understanding the constraints he faced. I get it, Raj. I really do. They exchanged phone numbers, carefully noting the time difference. Andrea gave him her schedule, outlining the hours she would be available, and Raj did the same. It was a small gesture, but it was their way of staying connected across the distance that would soon separate them. "Promise me you'll let me know when you get home safely," Raj said, his voice soft but insistent. "I promise," Andrea replied, her eyes filled with emotion. "I'll text you as soon as I land." As the moment to say goodbye approached, Andrea looked at Raj, her heart heavy with everything that had been left unsaid. Before she could speak, Raj reached out, enveloping her in his arms. He held her close, the world around them fading away as he pressed his lips to hers in a passionate kiss. Andrea's heart raced, her mind going blank as she melted into the kiss. It was everything she had imagined and more, a moment that seemed to stretch on forever, filled with all the emotions they had been holding back. When Raj finally pulled away, Andrea kept her eyes closed, savoring the lingering sensation of his lips on hers. The car door suddenly opened, breaking the spell. Susie was standing there, a knowing smile on her face. "Andrea, it's time to go," she said, her voice gentle but firm. Andrea opened her eyes, still dazed from the kiss, and looked at Raj one last time. His eyes were filled with emotion, and she could see the pain of their impending separation reflected in them. Thanks for watching. To be continued.